Can you believe that we're already at the end of 2021? I know, I have a hard time believing it as well. This year has just gone by so fast. Probably for some people, not fast enough. This is actually going to be the last show of this year. Not the last show ever, but of this year. So my next show will be next year, which will be next week. Today I wanted to speak about something that's close to my heart and mind, and it's to do with beliefs versus truth. The other day, my friend Karine came up to me and she said, do you know that if you look up the word belief in the thesaurus and under antonyms, one of the words that appears for belief is truth. Antonyms meaning the opposite. So in other words, the opposite of belief, one of the definitions of the opposite of belief is truth. And I was like, what? How can truth be the opposite of belief? So I went and looked it up, looked up thesaurus, went under antonyms, which means the opposite of, and sure enough, belief, one of the antonyms was truth. Another one was reality. So if truth and reality are the opposite of belief, then what is truth? Because one of the things that I've always believed or always known to be true is that not everybody's truth is the same, because each one of us, we tend to follow our own truth. Let me give you an example. When I was growing up, I grew up in a multicultural environment. My parents are Hindus, and I grew up in Hong Kong. And so when I started school, the first school my parents sent me to was a Catholic school. And at school, it was run by nuns. And the nuns believed that the only way to heaven, or the only way to God, was through believing in Jesus Christ and through Christianity and through being baptized. Now, my parents are Hindu, so I was never baptized. We didn't go to the church. We went to the temple every Monday, while the kids at school went to church on Sundays. And I lived in Hong Kong, which is predominantly a Chinese city. Most of the other people, the predominant race or the predominant culture of people, they were Chinese people who believed in either Taoism or Buddhism. Again, a completely different belief. But here's the interesting thing. Each of these cultures believed that what they believed in was truth. To them, it was their truth. And so it gets very confusing to differentiate between belief and truth. And because I was a child that was immersed in three cultures, to me, truth was always and has always been subjective. Then we fast forward, let's say even as an adult, let's say even when I got sick. As many of you know, I went through a period of dealing with cancer, and which even went to end stage. And while I was dealing with the illness, I was offered up many options of treatments. And because I was somebody who always favored alternative, I was somebody who feared cancer. And because I feared cancer, I was doing everything I could to avoid it even before I was diagnosed with it. And so I was very much engrossed or involved in the world of alternative healing. And in that world of alternative healing, people believed that the conventional treatments of cancer, the chemotherapy and radiation, actually made you worse. They believed that it was toxic, and it actually, and that if you were dealing with an illness, that you're supposed to remove the toxins. Why would you put more toxins like chemotherapy, and that the chemo would kill you? However, when I was diagnosed by a medical doctor, and then I had to see an oncologist. And when I said to the oncologist that I want to do alternative treatments, the oncologist and a lot of other people in my community said I was crazy and that I was going to kill myself if I didn't follow the chemotherapy route and the radiation, and if I didn't do what the oncologist said. They all believed that I was going to kill myself. So here's the thing. I was really, really in a lot of fear, and I was really torn because there were these two camps. There was the camp that believed that I would kill myself if I had chemotherapy, and there was the camp that believed I would kill myself if I did not have chemotherapy and did not do what the oncologist said I should do. So you had these two different beliefs, and I was in so much fear because I felt no matter what I did, I wasn't sure if it was the right thing to do. I wasn't sure if it was going to heal me or not. So I did both. I did have chemotherapy. I also did the alternative, and I was in so much fear about what I was doing because I feared that when I was not going, I started out not going for the chemo, I feared that that was killing me. Then I did the chemo, and then I feared that was killing me, and I had people telling me that it was already too late, and so on. Anyway, fast forward to when I had the near-death experience. Basically, the cancer progressed and I died. I was at end stage and I died. I went to the other side. And when I was on the other side, what I realized was that it was the fear that actually was the worst thing for me. The fear of all of it was much worse. And so when I was on the other side, what I realized is that there are only very few things that I can call as my truths. So when it's fear versus beliefs, the question I want to ask you, the viewer, to think about, and to think about moving forward as well, is what is it in your life or in your reality that is actually truth versus what is just a belief? So for me, I now know definitively what for me is truth. One of the things that I know is absolutely truth is that my connection with my higher self. I know without a doubt, as my truth, that I am more than just a physical body, that I am much more. That was evident to me when I crossed over. I continued to exist, and the part of me that existed was far, far greater than this physical body. The second thing that I realized was truth is that belief plays a huge role in our truth. I realized that if I believe I can heal, I will heal. If I don't believe I can heal, I won't heal. I realized that it didn't matter whether I had chemotherapy or alternative or did both or neither. The point was, did I believe in my body? Did I believe in the power of my body? Did I believe in that my life had value? Did I believe that I had purpose? Did I have passion for my life? These things are what shape my truth. In other words, belief is not the opposite of truth, and truth is not the opposite of belief, as it says in the thesaurus. Your beliefs actually shape truth. Because if I believed that my life was valueless and I believed that I was going to die, because the near-death experience made me realize it's not my time to die. I'm not going to die. My life has value. It has meaning. Those were beliefs. I cannot say that they were truths in the physical sense because the doctors did not believe it, and they're going by science or medical science. They're going by medicine. Everything in their report, everything in the scans, everything told them that I was dying. So was that truth? But I defied that truth because I lived, because the near-death experience made me realize that if my soul chooses to live, it's going to defy everything that we consider to be truth. So what I've realized is your truth, as I said, is or my truth is my connection to my higher self. I know beyond a shadow of doubt that I have a soul, and that soul is more powerful than my physical body. And if that soul has made a decision to live, then I will live. If that soul is ready to check out of this physical body and check out of this life, this physical body will die. So what should we do? So how do we nourish the soul? How can we be in touch with this greater truth. So first of all is awareness that you are more than your physical body, and you can connect with that at any time. You can get guidance from your soul or from your loved ones on the other side anytime. For me, that is my truth, because this physical reality can be really confusing. You can have multiple people, just like I said with the religions. I was faced with all these religions, each person as a child, people from each religion making me believe that only their religion is the true religion. And so at that time when I was a child, I was really fearful that when I die, I'm not going to get to heaven or nirvana or in a state of bliss because I wasn't following the right religion. I didn't know which one was the right one because they were all equally convincing. With the chemo and the alternative, equally convincing. Today in the world also, we find so many people with different truths, all equally convincing, and each one believing that what they have to share is the truth. Today, now, in this present time, it has never been more important than ever for you to actually connect with your higher truth and to think for yourself. Because on the internet, we get so much conflicting information. Last week, I actually talked about how whatever you want confirmation of on the internet will give you that confirmation. So if you believe in one thing, the internet will confirm that for you. If I believe that chemotherapy is toxic, the internet will confirm that for me. If I believe that chemotherapy can heal me, or that people have healed and lived for many years after taking chemotherapy, I will find stories on the internet to confirm that for me. Your truth is about following your own heart and your own guidance system, because the internet can confuse you. So when you follow your guidance system, I call that the infinite net. I get my truth from the infinite net, not the internet, because the internet can be deceiving, especially with algorithms. With today, what happens is that the internet gives you more of what you believe in and doesn't give you conflicting views. But it's not even about looking for conflicting views. It is about connecting to the infinite net and getting what is right for you as an individual in your situation. It's about getting the correct information that works for you. And that comes from your higher self, from your soul, from your guides. And so I always tell people, please, please learn to connect with your higher self. Sit with yourself, sit quietly. Don't be afraid to ask your higher self and ask your guides to give you guidance. And they will show you signs. They will communicate with you in whatever way they can. And here's a way to know when you get information, when you get downloads, here's a way to know that it's a download or that it's information from your higher self. So if you sit quietly, or you can go out for a walk in nature and allow your mind to kind of relax and wonder and clear it. Don't stress about work. So the main thing, the number one thing, is releasing stress and tension. So just let your mind go in a pleasant way. So as I said, it can be while you're out walking in nature, it can be sitting at home, it can be listening to music, it can be doing a journey, a guided journey. So let your mind drift. You will start to get insights and aha moments. You can even set an intention beforehand. The intention can be anything like, how come I don't have enough abundance? So you say, guides or higher self, please help me to have a little more abundance in my life. Or please help me with my health, with my healing. I'm really struggling with my healing. Or it can be, I've been really struggling with relationships. Please give me guidance on how I can attract a relationship that actually works for me and isn't one that's going to end up in heartbreak yet again, if that's the case. So you can really ask your guidance for anything. I'm going to explain a little bit deeper how that works. So on the one hand, it sounds really simple, and actually it is, but there is a little bit more to it than that. When you ask your guidance for this, for this help, first of all, know that your guides and your soul and all of them, they love to help you. Even your own soul, your own higher self. Your higher self has access to an infinite amount of information. And your higher self wants to give you that information all the time. Your guides are trying to communicate with you all the time. But if you are always in stress, and if you are always super busy, and if you are always in fear, and you are always in fear because you're getting conflicting information thrown at you, whether it's from mainstream media or from the internet, and you're arguing with people, if you're in that state all the time, your guides are not going to be able to communicate with you. And neither is your soul able to actually download information from the infinite net for you when your mind is so preoccupied and your system, your body is in fight or flight from all the fear that's going on in the outside world. So you have to find whatever way you can to calm yourself. That's why I suggest connecting with nature, or sitting and just meditating, releasing your thoughts. It's very important to get into that state of mind if you want to hear that guidance system. So let me just let me just rephrase this or give it to you in bullet points. Number one is you have an intention. Number two, make sure you get into a calm state of mind, because all that intense activity, that stress, those thoughts will block out the messages from the infinite net. So number two, get into a calm state of mind. Do whatever it takes. You can even relax in a bathtub. Number three is to always choose from a place of love. Whatever guidance that comes down, your truth, and this is the other thing that I know is truth, my guidance and connection is real and true. I am more than a body, that's a true. The third truth is love. Love, love, love. Fear is not a truth. Fear comes from this cultural field. It comes from this physical three-dimensional world. Anything that is fear is of the conditioned mind that has been conditioned from being over here. Anything that is love is from your guides, it's from your soul, it's from your infinite net. Anything that is love is truth. So when you get these downloads, when you get these messages, the biggest thing that people don't realize is you get them, they give you chills in that moment, and the next thing that we tend to do is we then say, oh, that's our imagination, and we dismiss it. That's why most people don't end up not following their guidance system. You dismiss it as your imagination. Do not dismiss it. The key is that if it gives you chills or goosebumps, and if it feels like it's coming from a place of unconditional love, where the choice that you are being asked to make is one of loving yourself as opposed to one coming from fear, then you know it is truth. So in other words, when you are choosing, for example, even if it's a treatment plan for an illness, are you choosing that treatment because it makes you feel good? It makes you feel nourished. It makes you feel healed. Are you choosing to go with something that gets you excited about life, that makes you feel that, oh, this health challenge came to me to take me to a better place? If that's what you're feeling, then that is truth. But if what you're feeling is, oh wow, I'm so scared. I have to make a choice, and I'm really scared that if I don't do this one, I'll die. That is not truth. That is fear. That is a conditioned response that you're being conditioned to believe in from this three-dimensional perspective. So whenever you have choices that feel fearful, put it up to the guides, put it up to your higher self and say, guide me through this. Show me the choices made from love. Love is always a part of truth. And so when you do that, what happens is you start getting downloads, you start getting guidance. I cannot tell you how many times this has happened to me, where I have dealt with things and I throw it to my guides, I throw it to my higher self, and I say, please use the infinite net and guide me, because if you want me to do this work in the world, I can't do it unless you guide me through this particular situation. And the guidance comes. And when it is a feeling of, wow, it would feel incredible to do that, that is guidance. When it feels like, oh my gosh, this feels really scary, this doesn't feel right, oh wow. And when it feels like I'm going to do it from a space of fear, like, oh, I better do that, or otherwise something bad is going to happen to me, then I realize, no, that's not coming from my guidance. And when it's something that's doubting me, when it's a voice that says, oh, this is, when it's a voice that actually says, no, this is actually not true, this is your imagination, that's not my guidance. That's absolutely not my guidance. So that's how you can tell the difference between the voice of your guidance and your mind. And the voice of your guidance is truth. The voice of love is truth. Doing things from the place of love is truth. Knowing that you are more than this physical body is truth. And it is my beliefs that help me to take me to my truth. Because if I didn't have my beliefs, I would actually be like just flying around, blowing in the wind, not knowing which direction to go. And how do you solidify your beliefs? Through self-love. Absolutely through self-love. The more you love yourself, the more that you actually believe that your life matters. The more you believe in the infinite net. The more you believe in the messages that come down to you, So self-love is actually the key. And so self-love, to me, is a truth that we all need to learn. It is the most important thing, and that is the root of all truth. Self-love is what connects you to your higher self and to the infinite net. And so what I'd love for you to do for next year, I would love for you to make it a resolution to learn to love yourself more, so that you can be connected to your own truth and your own authenticity and your own guidance, so that you don't get rallied around and confused by all the mixed messages that come out at you. Don't give your power away to anyone. You have your own connection to your own power and your own infinite net. So hold on to that. You are very, very powerful. You are magnificent. And I wish you a happy end of the year and an absolutely happy new year for 2022. And I can't wait to see you on the other side of this year. See you all really soon. Bye.